Hello everyone, and welcome to my video where I rank the intelligence of every GTA villain. In this video, I will use 5 tiers to classify the villains: genius, intelligent, somewhat intelligent, average, and dumb. I will analyze their actions, motivations, and outcomes in the game, and assign them a tier accordingly. Let's start with Big Smoke. Big Smoke was a high-ranking member of the Grove Street families, a gang that controlled the Ganton neighborhood of Los Santos. He was a childhood friend of Carl Johnson, the protagonist of the game, and his brother Sweet. However, Big Smoke betrayed the Grove Street families and joined forces with the rival gang, the Ballas, as well as the corrupt police unit CRAS and other criminal organizations. He did this to gain more money and power, and to avoid being killed by the police. Big Smoke was involved in many illegal activities, such as drug trafficking, murder, and racketeering. He was also the mastermind behind the assassination of Beverly Johnson, Carl's mother, and the attempted murder of Sweet. He used his influence and connections to spread his drug empire all over Los Santos and operated from a heavily fortified crack palace in East Los Santos. He became paranoid and isolated, fearing that other gangs would try to take over his business or kill him. Big Smoke's intelligence can be seen in his ability to manipulate others, such as Carl, Ryder, and OG Locke, to do his bidding. He also managed to evade the law and his enemies for a long time, and amassed a huge fortune from his criminal activities. He was cunning, ambitious, and ruthless, and had a good knowledge of the streets and the gangs. He also quoted from the Bible on several occasions, hinting at some level of education or religiousness. But in my opinion, Big Smoke's intelligence also had its flaws. He was greedy, selfish, and disloyal, and betrayed his friends and his gang for his own gain. He also underestimated Carl's loyalty to his brother and his determination to avenge his mother. He became addicted to drugs and lost his sense of reality. He also made enemies with almost every other gang in Los Santos, as well as the Russian Mafia and the Loco Syndicate. He ultimately met his end when Carl stormed his crack palace and confronted him in a final showdown. Based on this analysis, I would rank Big Smoke as somewhat intelligent. He was smart enough to rise in the criminal underworld and to orchestrate a complex plot against the Grove Street families. But he was also foolish enough to betray his friends and to make too many enemies. He was not a genius, nor was he dumb, but he was somewhere in between. That's it for Big Smoke. Next, Catalina. Catalina is the main antagonist of Grand Theft Auto 3 and a supporting antagonist in Grand Theft Auto, San Andreas. She is a criminal in Red County, and later the leader of the Colombian cartel in Liberty City. She is also the cousin of Varios Los Aztecas leader Cesar Villalpando, and Claude's ex-girlfriend turned archenemy. She has also briefly dated Carl C.J. Johnson. So, how intelligent is Catalina? Catalina is a psychopathic, self-centered, hot-headed, destructive, and reckless woman. She has an extremely short temper and can very quickly become irate in a matter of seconds. She is also mentally unstable and has a very dark and disturbing personality. She is obsessed with money and power and will stop at nothing to get them. She is also very treacherous and unfaithful, as she has betrayed and killed several of her boyfriends, including Claude and CJ. But I'll be a fool if I don't say that Catalina is not entirely dumb. She does have some skills and abilities that make her a formidable foe. For example, she is a great cartel leader and one of the smartest characters within the whole series. Her intelligence can be rivaled to that of the FIB and IAA. She is also fluent in English, Spanish, and possibly several other languages too. Therefore, based on these facts, I would rank Catalina as somewhat intelligent. She is not a genius, as she has made many mistakes and failed to achieve her ultimate goals. She is not intelligent, as she has let her emotions and impulses get the better of her. She is not average, as she has shown some signs of cunning and strategy. She is not dumb, as she has proven to be a dangerous and powerful adversary. Next up, we have Eddie Pulaski and Frank Tenpenny. These two are the corrupt cops who work for the CRASH unit, along with Jimmy Hernandez. They are also the main enemies of CJ throughout the game, as they blackmail, threaten, and manipulate him into doing their dirty work. So how intelligent are Eddie and Frank? Well, Eddie and Frank are both very cunning, ruthless, and ambitious. They use their authority and influence to control the streets of Los Santos and profit from the drug trade and the gang wars. They are also very good at covering their tracks and framing others for their crimes. They have a network of allies and informants, such as Big Smoke, Ryder, and The Truth, who help them in their schemes. However, Eddie and Frank are also very different in their personalities and abilities. Eddie is more of a follower than a leader, and he often acts as Frank's loyal sidekick and enforcer. He is also more sadistic, racist, and vulgar than Frank, and he enjoys torturing and killing his victims. He is not very smart or creative, and he relies on Frank's guidance and orders. He is also very cowardly, and he tries to escape when things go wrong. Frank, on the other hand, is the mastermind and the leader of the CRASH unit. He is more charismatic, persuasive, and manipulative than Eddie, and he can convince anyone to do his bidding. He is also more intelligent, strategic, and resourceful than Eddie, and he can plan and execute complex and elaborate plots. He is also more adaptable and unpredictable than Eddie, and he can handle any situation or challenge that comes his way. I would rank Eddie as average and Frank as intelligent. Next is Lance. Lance Vance is the younger brother of Victor Vance, the protagonist of GTA Vice City stories. He grew up in poverty with his drug-addicted mother and his asthmatic brother Pete. He was raised by his aunt Enid, who he sees as his sole maternal figure. He was often teased about his name in school, which he is still very sensitive about. He also has a habit of lying about his name, such as calling himself Quentin or the Don. Lance is a trained helicopter pilot and a skilled gunman. He is also ambitious and charismatic, often using his charm and humor to get what he wants. He has a passion for music and dancing, and likes to call himself Lance Vance Dance. He is loyal to his family, especially his brother Vic, who he often tries to help with his drug business. However, Lance also has many flaws that hinder his intelligence. He is impulsive, reckless, greedy, and arrogant. He often acts without thinking, getting himself and his brother into trouble. He is addicted to his own cocaine, which affects his judgment and mood. He is also easily manipulated and betrayed by others, such as Ricardo Diaz, Sonny Farelli, and the Mendez brothers. He has a tendency to blame others for his mistakes and to seek revenge without considering the consequences. Lance's biggest mistake is betraying Tommy Vercetti, the protagonist of GTA Vice City, who he becomes partners with after killing Diaz. Lance is unhappy with Tommy's leadership and feels that he is not getting enough respect or money. He secretly contacts Sonny, Tommy's former boss, and tells him that Tommy has been ripping him off. He then switches sides during the final showdown at the Vercetti estate, leading to a gunfight between Tommy and Sonny's men. Lance is eventually killed by Tommy, who calls him an idiot. I think he is somewhat intelligent. He has some skills and talents, but he also makes many poor decisions and lacks foresight and wisdom. He is not a complete fool, but he is far from being a genius. Next, Masimo. Massimo Torini is a feared mafioso from Sicily who runs a hotel outside of Palermo. He is sent by his bosses to Liberty City under the guise of making peace between the three mafia families, the Leones, the Farellis, and the Sindacos. However, his real goal is to manipulate the families into destroying each other, and then take over the city with the Sicilian mafia. Torini is a cunning and ruthless strategist who uses his connections and influence to recruit various gangs, such as the Diablos and the Triads, to expand their turf into mafia territory. He also orchestrates several attacks and assassinations on the mafia leaders, such as Salvatore Leone, Paulie Sindaco, and Franco Farelli. He manages to keep his involvement hidden for most of the game, and even convinces Salvatore's uncle, the boss of the Sicilian mafia, that he is working for the greater good of the family. However, Torini is not without flaws. He underestimates the loyalty and resilience of Salvatore and his right-hand man, Tony Cipriani, who eventually discover his scheme and foil his plans. He also makes a fatal mistake by kidnapping the newly elected mayor Miles O'Donovan, hoping to prevent him from dropping the charges on Salvatore. This leads to a final confrontation at Portland Rock, where Torini is killed by Tony, who shoots down his helicopter. So, what is my verdict on Massimo Torini's intelligence? I think he deserves the rank of intelligent. He is a mastermind who almost succeeds in taking over Liberty City, and he shows a high level of creativity, deception, and resourcefulness. However, he is not a genius, as he fails to account for some variables and makes some miscalculations that ultimately cost him his life. Next, Miguel. First of all, Miguel is a terrible leader. He is supposed to be in charge of the cartel's operations, but he is constantly outsmarted and betrayed by his enemies and allies. He trusts Catalina, his partner and lover, even though she is clearly using him for her own agenda. He also trusts Claude, the protagonist of the game, even though he has no reason to. He lets Claude work for him, and even gives him access to his warehouse, where he keeps his drugs and weapons. This leads to his downfall, as Claude eventually turns against him and steals his stash. Secondly, Miguel is a coward. He is always afraid of confrontation, and he prefers to hide behind his goons or Catalina. He never fights back, even when he is attacked or tortured. He is captured by the Yakuza, who cut off his fingers and use him as a hostage. He is also captured by the Leone family, who shoot him in the chest and leave him for dead. He is always begging for mercy, and he never shows any courage or loyalty. Also, Miguel is a fool. He is clueless about everything that is going on around him, and he never learns from his mistakes. He is easily manipulated and deceived by anyone who talks to him. He believes whatever Catalina tells him, even when she lies to him or cheats on him. These are the reasons why Miguel is one of the dumbest characters in GTA 3, and why he belongs in the dumb intelligence tier. He is a bad leader, a coward, and a fool. He is a joke, and he deserves no respect. Next, Ryder. Ryder is a self-proclaimed genius who claims that he dropped out of high school because he was too intelligent for it. He is also a drug addict who smokes PCP mixed with cannabis, which he calls his water. He is arrogant, cocky, and extremely proud of himself, often trash-talking and insulting others. He is also obsessed with his small stature, which he compensates for with his violent and aggressive behavior. But how smart is Ryder really? Is he a genius, intelligent, somewhat intelligent, average, or dumb? To answer this question, we need to look at his actions and decisions throughout the game, and see how they reflect his intelligence level. First of all, let's look at Ryder's skills and abilities. Ryder is shown to be a good gunman and marksman, as he can handle various weapons such as pistols, SMGs, AK-47s, and even a rocket launcher. He is also proficient in driving and stealing cars, as he helps CJ with several missions involving carjacking and robbery. He also has some contacts and connections in the criminal underworld such as LB, a weapons dealer, and T-Bone Mendez, a member of the Loco Syndicate. Ryder also seems to have some knowledge of military equipment and tactics, as he plans and executes a raid on a National Guard depot to steal weapons and armor. But Ryder also makes some very poor and irrational choices that undermine his intelligence. For example, he decides to betray the Grove Street families and join the Ballas, a rival gang that he despises and has been fighting against for years. He does this because Big Smoke convinces him that he can make more money and gain more respect by working with the Ballas and their allies. However, this decision not only makes him a traitor and a hypocrite, but also puts him in danger, as he becomes an enemy of CJ, Sweet, and the rest of the Grove Street families, who are determined to stop him and his new associates. A third example of Ryder's lack of intelligence is his disrespect and rudeness towards others. Ryder is always insulting and mocking CJ, calling him a busta and a mark. He also disrespects other people, such as Kendall, Cesar, OG Locke, and even his own allies, such as Big Smoke and Tenpenny. He does this because he thinks that he is superior and smarter than everyone else, and that he can get away with anything. However, this attitude only makes him more hated and despised by others, who eventually turn against him or abandon him. Based on these examples, we can conclude that Ryder is not a genius, nor intelligent, nor somewhat intelligent, nor average. He is, in fact, dumb. He is a dumb person who thinks that he is smart, but he is actually ignorant, irrational, and delusional. Next, Sonny Farelli. Sonny Farelli was born into the Farelli crime family, an Italian-American mob that dominated the criminal underworld in Liberty City. Sonny rose to power at a young age, becoming the don of the family and expanding their business into racketeering, gambling, union trouble, corruption, and drugs. Sonny had a friend and a loyal hitman named Tommy Vercetti, who was one of his best men. However, Sonny grew jealous and fearful of Tommy's rising reputation and power, so he decided to get rid of him. In 1971, Sonny sent Tommy to Harwood, Liberty City, to assassinate a key mobster. However, this was a setup, as Sonny had hired 11 hitmen to ambush and kill Tommy. Tommy managed to survive and kill all the hitmen, but he was arrested by the police and sentenced to 15 years in prison. Sonny thought he had eliminated his rival, but he was wrong. In 1986, Tommy was released from prison and sent to Vice City by Sonny, who wanted him to establish a drug trading business in the city and send him a cut of the profits. Sonny also wanted to keep Tommy away from Liberty City, as he believed his presence would hamper the family's business. Tommy agreed to work for Sonny, but he soon realized that Sonny had betrayed him 15 years ago. Tommy decided to cut ties with Sonny and build his own criminal empire in Vice City with the help of his lawyer Ken Rosenberg, retired Colonel Juan Cortez, and drug dealer Lance Vance. Sonny was not happy with Tommy's independence and defiance. He tried to pressure Tommy into sending him money and drugs, but Tommy refused. Sonny then decided to take matters into his own hands and flew to Vice City with a large group of his men. He also convinced Lance Vance to betray Tommy and join his side, promising him a bigger share of the action. Sonny and Lance stormed Tommy's mansion, where they confronted Tommy and demanded their cut of his new action. Tommy realized that Sonny and Lance had set him up, and a gunfight ensued. Sonny revealed that he was the one who orchestrated the ambush in 1971, and that he owned Tommy for 15 years. Tommy was enraged and vowed to make Sonny pay. Sonny and Tommy exchanged fire, while Lance tried to escape. Tommy chased Lance to the roof of the mansion, where he killed him. He then returned to the main hall, where he faced Sonny. Sonny and Tommy had a final showdown, where Tommy shot and killed Sonny, ending his reign of terror and his attempt to take over Vice City. Sonny Farelli was a genius in many ways. He was able to rise to the top of the Farelli crime family and become one of the most powerful and influential mob bosses in Liberty City. He was able to manipulate, deceive, and betray his friend and best man, Tommy Vercetti, and almost get away with it. He was able to plan and execute a complex and ambitious scheme to take over Vice City and its lucrative drug market. He was able to recruit Lance Vance, Tommy's trusted partner, to his side and use him as a pawn. He was able to challenge Tommy's authority and dominance in Vice City and put him in a difficult situation. Sonny Farelli was also a genius who failed. He failed to kill Tommy Vercetti in 1971, which led to his downfall. He failed to control Tommy Vercetti in 1986, which led to his rebellion. He failed to take over Vice City, which led to his death. He failed to see that Tommy Vercetti was smarter, stronger, and more determined than him. He failed to realize that his greed, arrogance, and paranoia would be his undoing. But overall, I think he is going to the genius tier. Say what you want, B. He was a top player of the game. So yeah, we are done. Thank you for watching GTA Genius. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to comment below, and I'll see you next time. Till then, take care and have a nice day.